to go explore. These are the real deep roads. No sunlight from above creeping in down here. I guess this is where they get the name of the DLC from, The Descent, as we, well, essentially descend through this, what is it, the Heidrun Thaig?
Look at that, Ren. Could this be Thaig Heidrun?
Darkspawn all over it. You can see their torches.
We're getting close to something.
Aye. The fight of our lives.
So by the timeline, it's been, what, 10, 15 years or so? Not that long since we ended the Fifth Blight, or whatever, in Dragon Age Origins, you know, the Warden story. And then, of course, you had Hawk's story, where you're essentially fleeing Lothering, and you wind up in Kirkwall and all the events that take place there, leading up to Corypheus' release. And then, well, we all know how that turned out here. But it hasn't been all that long. Now, this destruction we're seeing here, is this from hundreds, maybe thousands of years ago, or is this...
When fighting Darkspawn. Their blood's poison.
Or is this a little more recent?
Lovely creatures.
There was this Carter boy, Vaughn, who joined the Legion around the same time I did. Fast with daggers. Could poke 50 holes in a Hurlock before the Blighter knew what happened. Daggers are messy. Vaughn swallowed some spatter. Took him 3 days to die.
We need to work on your stories, Grizzly.
Right? That's not very cheery storytelling for our trip through the depths here. But, anyway, I was thinking to myself that during each Blight, okay, so it takes the Darkspawn an untold period of time to find their archdemon, to go corrupt some old god so they can pull them out and have a dragon fly around and go bother everybody. Doesn't necessarily mean that the entire horde is dedicated to finding one old god at a time. Could they have been working on this for who knows how long, while the Darkspawn that were starting the Fifth Blight were doing their thing wherever that came from? Like, who knows where they found that old archdemon. I'm guessing down there in the Thaig that you go to during Origins, right? You wind up over there where you go to try to find Kaladin and the Anvil of the Void and all that good stuff. I'm guessing that their old god was found somewhere down there. And I had mentioned this to you guys last video. I was thinking to myself that the Thaig you find in Dragon Age 2 is an old, long lost Thaig, pre-Shaperate, pre-Dwarven history Thaig, where maybe some, you know, one of the first or second archdemons was found, something like that. And then, and so this right here, these Darkspawn, maybe they're looking for that very thing, is another old god to corrupt. And I don't know how long it might take them to eventually find them, but then when they do, and they manage to corrupt this old god, then what happens? Well, you start another Blight. So I guess the 6th Blight would be in the works here. That's kind of what I'm guessing, is we're about to interrupt something here. And perhaps change the pattern of things, possibly. Who knows? But anyway, I'm sitting here just marveling at the job they did with this. This is just one big open chasm with lots of bridges and stuff like that. And I would love to see this place right here in its heyday. If they took me way back in time in a future Dragon Age game, and let me see this stuff in all of its glory when all this was lit up by who knows what, lyrium torches or whatever, and you could see the, you know, the dwarves running about doing their daily thing. Just doing their stuff. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, this destruction has either been taking place over a long time or is the result of many wars that happened a long time ago or something. I'm just looking around, so they've got gears and stuff hidden everywhere. I guess if you want to find them all, then you've got to explore every ledge and every drop-off in this entire area here. If I remember right, there are some war table operations or whatever that you can start to build some bridges here. You can get the the Inquisition guys to come down here and make pathways so you can get to some of those other big statues and stuff like that. We'll do that. I don't know how thorough I'm going to be in as far as opening all these doors and stuff like this. If I remember right, it's mainly a lot of loot type stuff. But, I mean, I'm good with that. I guess I'm in no real hurry to get out of here. Might as well enjoy the deep roads while I've got them. Yeah, I think we can get some walkways and stuff to go between all those areas up there to go explore. Probably make what I'm doing right here a lot easier, but I can't help myself. I just need to look around.
Lost a good soldier in the roads once. She fell down a hole. Found her 3 days later.
He loves this story.
She spent a whole day telling us all the strange things she saw while lost. A golden longboat floating in the air. Packs of hairless children hunting nugs. A giant skeleton on a throne.
Was it true?
Never found out. She woke up the next day. Couldn't remember any of it.
Now, it's stuff like that where I'm like, you know, is this really trying to tell us something? There's something to be gathered from what he's talking about, or is he just, you know, just talking? Like, and we expect to find some giant on a throne down here, and it just throws the lore all upside down on its head by suggesting that there were Avar down here at some point or something, you know. I mean, you never know. Alright, so I took the elevator to get my way back up here so I can go explore over on this side. I mean, these are obviously situated here in a certain way so that you can use them like stairs. If you weren't supposed to do this, then you'd probably just, when you fall off a ledge, it would just put you back wherever you jumped from, you know. Just resets you if it's an area where you're not supposed to go. So apparently they designed this to be explored. You know, Varric could probably clear that gap. It's another advantage rogues have. Use their little leap move to jump over extra distance. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. See a Varric looking like a ninja. Oh, nice. Superb ammunition. Oh, nice. I guess this is the general direction we're supposed to be going anyway. It tells you to make a descent, so pick your path and follow it. You know, if it weren't for the sake of the video, I might spend maybe a couple hours in here trying to experiment on which ledges you can actually reach and stuff like that. You could have some fun with this. Yeah, you're definitely supposed to explore all these little side ledges and stuff. So these right here were roads at one point. Superb. There's lots of superb amulets. These are nice. Yeah, I think when we get to a spot where I can really access some crafting benches, I think I may craft another set of armor for my character, and we're going to go for I'm going to dump a bunch of dex into everything, put on an amulet of dexterity, because I was thinking to myself, I mentioned this before, I'll reiterate it, that 10 points of dex is 10% critical damage, whereas 10 points of willpower or strength is 5% attack. You get a half point of attack per point. in those attributes, but each point of dex gives you a 1% critical chance, which if you're not penetrating enemy armor and you're not pulling high crits, that's a far less useful stat than what attack might be, which basically applies a particular damage bonus all the time, regardless. It actually equates into the damage calculator after armor. Once, you know, the base weapon and then the armor rating is removed from that and so on and so forth, the attack modifier is added after that. Whereas critical is added before. Basically, you take your weapon damage and you multiply it by your critical modifier, then you subtract armor after that. And so critical damage can be watered down a bit, but if you can get through armor and you can pull off a lot of crits, for my character's sake, I think 10% critical damage is far better than 5% extra attack. And since my critical chance is up already, between my character's passives and how I've built my weapon, which is where I get a lot of critical chance from, and having Varric around and all that other good stuff, I'm thinking that putting a bunch of dex just into armor, I think I can probably raise my... And an amulet, a superb amulet of dex, I'm thinking I could get it an extra 30-40%, something like that. May even craft my armor specifically to raise all my stats by 10%. So, I don't know, say if I could buff my dex by 20, well, that'd make it 22 instead, you know, and just squeeze everything that I can out of it. That's what I'm sitting here considering. I want to do something like that. Extra 30-40% damage sounds good to me, on top of everything else. I believe ability modifiers are also calculated along the same lines as attack in terms of after everything's said and done. So yeah, that might be the way to go. We'll see. We'll see what kind of numbers. We've got some exploring and stuff to do here. We get some new campsites set up and get the crafting benches unlocked and then see what we can do. Lots of side caves here. So I guess this would be tunneling that the Darkspawn have done over the years, looking for something. Torches set up.
I've heard encouraging things about your progress topside. That you're bringing order to the chaos.
That's what they tell me.
We could use that down here.
Or these access points to the Lyrium mines, dug out by the dwarves. How would you like to work in mines knowing that at any moment Darkspawn might pop up too? So it's not just the hazards of possible cave-ins and things like that naturally occurring, but then Darkspawn too coming out of holes, causing things to cave in on you themselves. That's man, that would be talk about wanting some extra hazard pay. Darkspawn down here fighting spiders. Look at this dude, big old set of spiked brass knuckles and a huge ass shield. It's pretty cool Darkspawn there. Well, everything's hostile down here. I'm just sitting here thinking, with the half XP trial on, and I'm still pulling 300, 400, 500 off some of these enemies, we'd have reached the level cap a long time ago. I would strongly suggest for any of you who like the whole idea of leveling all the way through the game, you know, not really reaching your level cap until you get to the end type of thing. I'm a big fan of playing that way. I don't like to max level, you know, a third, half of the way into the game. You know, get as much XP as I can from every single possible source to level up as early as possible, and then, you know, spend the last, you know, half or 2/3 of the game just not getting to level anymore. Assigning my skill points is part of the fun of the RPG, is, you know, getting that next skill to make you a little bit stronger. And being able to spread that out across the entire playthrough, I've really enjoyed that. So I'd strongly recommend anyone who likes to play like that, or like to experience that, to activate that trial, if nothing else, for the half XP. It doesn't appear to, in and of itself, really affect enemy behavior or make the game funky. It's just some of the enemies give you half or even less XP. Like some enemies I can remember giving me, like, say, I don't know, 100, would only give me like 16. That's much less than half, and don't know why. It's all good to me. And it really boils down to finishing quests too, when you get huge amounts of XP for turning in something, killing a dragon, you know, some of the major checkpoints in the game. Instead of getting, you know, 25,000, well, you get 12. Instead of getting 8,000, you get 4. And that makes a huge difference. You do tend to level a lot slower because of that. Not just the enemy kills and stuff, but the turning in the quests that give you multiples of thousands. Cutting those in half really slow it down some. I really like it. Like I say, I'm still level 24, and we've done just about everything in the game with this character. Killed all the dragons, did almost every quest in every area. Closed almost every Fade Rift, if not every Fade Rift. I mean, this was almost a trophy run here, as far as that goes, so... I've been really thorough and still haven't reached cap. Still have, what, 2 or 3 levels to go, and there's a lot of XP you need for each level, too. So I'm going to guess that we won't see level cap, if we do it all, until towards the end of the last DLC. You know, the Trespasser. That would be my guess. And that works out really well. That shows me a lot of balance in the way they assign XP, how much they give you for doing certain things. Very well thought out. And the option is always there to speed that up by taking the perks at the war table that give you extra XP for codex. Found out that is retroactive, meaning that all the codexes you picked up that, well, with the half XP that you've only gotten, what, 25 apiece for, right? Well, you'll get another, what, 12 or 13. It'll probably round up to 13 apiece for every one that you found. Well, odds are by this point in the game you found hundreds. And so you pick all those perks in each particular thing for extra XP, and I could probably go reach level cap right now with the number of codexes I found and read and discovered. Every enemy you kill, every new thing you find, they all give you XP as far as unlocking a certain codex. I've got to have quite a few of those under my belt by now, considering we fought just one of every kind of enemy, for one. Discovered basically every location in the game, lots of unique items and legendary stuff, and then simply the things that I've read and stuff like that. People I've talked to, even, all that stuff counts as codex. Every character in the game, every item in the game, every location. Gates of Segramar. Terrible to sacrifice one's own child. Could not build the lock barriers that would carve the marks and break the sigil. You alone could save us all. Sacrificed a child to make these locks? Some kind of dwarven blood magic type of thing? I mean, that's what the golems are. Dwarven blood magic. Essentially, Caridin sacrificing the lives of these dwarves to put their souls into these golems and make them, well, basically constructs. That's dwarven blood magic. Very similar to their making of, you know, lyrium runes and stuff like that. I would call that magic. They say the dwarves are immune to magic and can't do it. I can't really tell. They've managed to do all kinds of things. I remember in Orzammar, in Dragon Age Origins, there was a dragon bound in the palace. You unlock it using these runes or these things, you know, these triggers on the floor, but it's still a magical sigil or ward or something that kept that dragon locked away there. Not to mention the revenants and stuff that you find all over the place, both in Orzammar and then down in the deep roads and stuff. There's stronger magic stuff among the dwarves than maybe anybody else, as far as that goes. All right, tell you what, we're gonna get the archer down first here. Does that look like several of those uber elite sword and shield guys? And this guy's an elite too. Are you serious? Eric must have hit somebody pretty hard with a crossbow. Pull their attention like that. Look at this, man. These are all elites. That means they can't be pulled, they can't be staggered, they can't be anything. Stupid archers. He really needs to go. Look, making archers tanks, that's going too far. Yeah, I figured I'm supposed to die by now. Yeah. Cassandra's getting beat down in chunks. That's unusual. These guys hit too hard. They hit way too hard for being tanks. So, you can't move them. They can block everything. They can one-hit basically anybody in the party. Yeah, I don't agree with making enemies with 0 weaknesses. Okay, yeah, that figures. Well, that just adds more frustration to this. A little bit annoying, a little bit. I think this is a little over the top. I don't think the trial promotions should stack on enemies. And they can spam their power moves. So like every one-handed swing from their weapons knocks you down, staggers you and stuns you and knocks you down. Like their normal swing is a guaranteed shield bash all the time. I don't think that's fair. So like that's 17 or 18 uber promoted boss abilities given to each one of these guys, and they spam you with half a dozen of them. Just saying. Maybe they could tone that down just a little bit. I mean, we get through it fine, but still. Oh, and then the guard, that you don't break the guard. Their guard is synced to their health. So they have guard guaranteed for the duration of them being alive. You can't knock their guard down and then start pulling them with a basic health bar. No, their guard goes down with their health. So they can never be staggered, and they can never. I mean, yeah. And then the health pool of a dragon, literally. And the charge move of one of those Templar Shield Knights. Yeah, see you, man.
A few years back. Left a nasty scar.
How'd you get away?
Kicked her with the other leg. Seriously, keep your guard up. They'll use your tongue as jewelry.
Ugh. I'll remember that.
Disgusted noise. Yeah, right? Dude, do you have any good stories to tell? I mean, I'm just saying. We don't need all butterflies and unicorns, but the whole tongue jewelry thing, yeah, you can keep some of those to yourself. Morale is a powerful thing, and yeah, you're not doing much for the morale of the party. And the amount of work they put into designing this entire area. Now, I'm no game designer, but I've heard this before, that doing vertical areas where, I mean, Bethesda used to struggle with this. If you wanted to go upstairs, you had to take a ladder. You had to go through a loading screen just to get upstairs in a building, you know, that type of thing. Apparently vertical is really a challenge. Game design and stuff. It's one thing to make a map, it's another thing to make a cube area where you can also go up and scale things and stuff like that. So this is pretty impressive. I mean, I'm guessing after you go vertically up or down a certain distance that you enter a new zone. You know, there's a new area to load into. And other than sometimes falling off a ledge and kind of stopping for a second, probably while it quickly loads the next area you're going into, it's still seamless. I mean, you can look up and see where you came from and look down and see where you're going for a pretty good distance. This is pretty impressive to me. They did an amazing job with the lighting too. Those torches look natural and real. And I'm guessing some of the light filtering down from above is light coming from like lyrium and stuff. It's got that kind of cold blue light to it. I'm guessing these spiders become corrupted by feeding on the Darkspawn.
I heard the hero of Ferelden came down here during the light.
Cardall met but I never had the pleasure.
Do you often see Grey Wardens?
From time to time. They're a good bunch. Tough in a fight. Fearless.
I don't know if we're going to make it through this entire Thaig to the next camp. I believe there's another campsite coming up eventually. And just kind of checkpoints, you know, for progress. Place where you can stop and chill for a second. Try to make it there. If not, we'll find a place to cut it off here. I know sometimes we can do the epic hour and a half, 2 hour long videos and stuff, but I try to keep that at a minimum. Sacrificial gates of Segramar. Mother holds me when I sleep, warm, so warm her rhythm flows through my throat, burning until the miners and their fat, cruel hands are a distant memory. Kolg is memory, I am the sun.
Experiments. Looks like his results were inconclusive.
So this dwarf was this exile dwarf who had nothing to live for anyway. Apparently was consuming just raw lyrium and stuff, and it drove him crazy. But is he the one that made these? I mean, he made that puzzle. Now that one dwarf girl that's running along with us, she said something about the metal that these gears are made of aren't mined down here, so they came from somewhere else. Shipped in? Or so, I don't know. I don't know if that's even relevant. Just trying to keep track of the things I've seen and heard since we've been here. There's definitely secrets that BioWare is passing along in these DLC and stuff. Most definitely. Kind of things that are out there in the open, but since they don't point you at them and say this is such and such, I mean, you have to see it and acknowledge it and recognize it for what it is. Or at least try to. That's what I try to do. I'm not saying I'm right in any of these things, but I think the guesswork is half the fun, honestly. Trying to figure out what they're trying to tell me. What lore-related stuff. Anything down here? Can I get rewarded for walking all the way down here? Well, these bridges have to be collapsed down here for a reason. Yeah, there's something. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Give me all the things. Enhanced ring of critical damage. Cool. I've got my superb rings. I don't, there's another mug. Okay. Maybe I'll find them all just accidentally. You're definitely supposed to come look over in these corners here. I mean, these gears are here. I guess if you want all the doors open, it's going to require literally scouring every single ledge and nook and cranny in this whole place. And this place is huge. This is like one big chasm. But can you imagine when this was... There we go. Expedition. Yeah, this is going to create, like, walkways and stuff, I'm sure. Can you imagine when this place was in its heyday, though? How this looked when it was all lit up and they were doing their mining and they had the, you know... Oh, man. I really have a strong feeling that, that BioWare might do that for us. Might send us back in time at some point previously, so we at least get to experience some of the things that we've seen and heard about just in history. And, you know, of course, what we've read in the history books...
To go deeper.
Only way down from here is falling. Not keen on that.
I'd also like to avoid falling if we're counting votes.
There has to be another way.
That's all right, we'll find a way through. Actually, I want to find my way back up top. In case we missed a side path. Okay, well there's this. Maybe this will send us back through. We got the gears for it, might as well open it. Recover artifacts for Orzammar. Okay. Was that a quest or something? I just got a shit ton of XP for it. And a bunch of influence. Huh. I don't want to go down yet. I want to go back up because we kind of took a side route. Oh, crap. I don't think this is going to make it. Can't hardly see anyway. Now, this would be a good opportunity to get some veil fire. That would be nice. Let somebody carry a torch as we wander through here. Yeah, anyway, it'd be awesome. And then when you go back in history, you find out that things aren't really anything like they were written down to be. You know, recorded history is often much, much different than the reality. And we got shrieks, and we got another emissary. Looks like it. So these emissaries here, these are like leaders of the Darkspawn, right? I mean, Corypheus is like an emissary on steroids almost, basically. He kind of looks like one, really, but you know, they used to wonder that Corypheus was, by all intents, a Darkspawn, but he was fully cognizant of everything. He could speak, and he wasn't just a mindless husk. He was as aware, if not more aware, than most people, you know. So these emissaries are kind of a step in between. I wonder if they were ancient magisters that have been corrupted. Not the magisters that broke into the Fade, per se. Not the choice followers of Dumont or whatever, but, you know, mages nonetheless, like your Tevinter magisters. I don't know. Just guessing. Okay, enough of whatever you were about to do there, dude. Yeah, lay down. Overall, I like the balance of the challenge here. I do a little bit better. I actually really like the Jaws of Hakkon DLC, and I really don't have complaints. But some of the enemies there were a little OP, in my opinion. Some of the fights were imbalanced to where I didn't see a way around. Even after rethinking my approach to certain situations, I still couldn't find a reasonable way to deal with things. Although it's true, there's some things I don't use. Things like, I don't know, confusion grenades. Sometimes I forget I have bees, you know. Things like that, which might make things more manageable. True enough. So it's not like I exhausted all my remedies, but still. When I can reasonably get through a great portion of the game, and then I run into a stumbling block where I can't find any solution, I say, you know, I think to myself, you know, the difficulty spike here is a little high. Maybe that's just me complaining. Like I say, the answer is probably in something that I just don't see. Or it's something that I don't normally do. I'm kind of creature of habit, is once I build my character and my party and do things, I may tweak some stuff and I may discover new things as I go. But for the most part, things that I use and things that I don't use, I pretty much get into a habit, get into a rhythm, a pattern, and stick to that. I'm guilty of that. We do pretty well for the most part. I mean, can't complain much, but sometimes it's good to be open to new ideas. You guys help me on streams sometimes. I'll be streaming and one of you will come up with an idea and we'll investigate and look into it. And oftentimes it's something you guys have just been doing forever and something I never even thought about. And then once we try it, it's like, hey, that's really cool. that not only works, but it's legit. You know, I mean, it's, you know, this isn't cheaty, glitchy stuff. This is legit intelligent thinking here, you know? Something really, really clever. A lot of you guys have come up with stuff like that. Very cool. Makes me think there's something special about this group we have here that hangs out on the channel and on streams and stuff. Taking RPG gaming to a whole nother level, man.
That explains the stench.
Oh, just what I wanted. A whole flock of archers. Bastards. Yeah, lay down. There you go. Take that. Punk. Hate archers. Hate the archers. Alright, well, tell you what. We'll probably go ahead and chill right here. I have a feeling there has to be a boss fight coming up, and this will be one of those tense moments where you end the show not knowing what's going to happen next and build the hype for the next one. But I'm guessing through these doors we'll probably find probably where we're headed. I think we still have a ways to go, though, so assuming we have enough gears for this thing. I think we do. There we go. Yeah, we'll go ahead and call this a day and keep venturing on, keep making our descent. Appreciate you watching. If you want to subscribe, click that button up top if you haven't already. And if you want to catch this entire Dragon Age Inquisition playthrough from the beginning, you can click that box. Should send you straight to the playlist. Y'all take care, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.